Welcome to Chatting with Entrepreneurs. Hi, my name is Carla Holland. I'm the Executive Director of Texas Tech Institute for Small Business. The Institute has 4 programs that provide assistance to small businesses. We have Business Management, which is the Small Business Development Center. We have Government Contracting Assistance with our APACS Accelerator. We have manufacturing assistance with our TMAC, and we support rural small businesses through an USDA grant. But today we're going to talk to the entrepreneur, Susan DeVore. So Susan, tell us a little bit about you and the name of your business and location.
I'm Susan DeVore. The name of the business is Royal Hummingbird Studio. We're a fine jewelry and custom design studio and diamond and gemstone concierge located here in Lubbock in the Village Shopping Center at 82nd and Quaker. And the business has been in town here since 1978 under a different name and now under Royal Hummingbird Studio.
So is this your first business or have you had other businesses?
I have not had other businesses, unless you count being an Avon lady when I was 17.
There are a lot of entrepreneurs that say, how did you make the decision to move forward? They probably have that fear of, I want to start a business, or in your case, buy a business. How did you come about wanting to own a jewelry store?
Oh, this was completely accidental. And I had been a customer of the store. At that time, it was Diamondtree. I received a card in the mail that the store was going to close. And I said, I hate that that's going to happen. I need to go buy a pair of earrings before it closes. And 3 weeks later, I'm sitting with a small business loan application. It was a total God thing, not something I expected ever to do, and was the best gift that I've ever received.
And when you were thinking about buying this business, what is something you would have want someone to told you as you were considering, I'm going to buy this business?
I would not have wanted them to tell me anything.
Nothing at all.
Because of fear. At the time, I had a full-time career in healthcare. If I thought about it long enough, I'd gone, you're out of your mind. How are you going to do this, work full-time, and grow? Because the business was closing. How was I going to reestablish and grow the business while working full-time? Most people would have tried to talk me out of it, probably.
You're probably right. So when you started the business, in that first year, it had to be such a change for you. What did you learn in that first year?
In the first year, one of the things I probably learned most is that there is a point of diminishing return in advertising, in my experience.
Okay.
Where it's not always true that you just keep throwing more dollars at it, that it's going to make a difference. You have to watch your numbers, know your numbers, and see what your numbers are telling you.
Tell us a little bit about how you finance the purchase of the business. How did you get prepared, or how did you get help? Did you pull money out of your retirement? Did you go for a loan? And how did you do all of that part?
We did, of course, because we went through the small business loan process, we had to take some of our own savings to put into it.
Okay.
The first referral I received was you need to go to the Small Business Development Center and they had a template at that time for business plan. I'd been in business, healthcare business, for decades before this. It doesn't prepare you for a small business plan. They are completely different animals. I had a strong financial and business management background in a corporate healthcare setting, but it's not the same.
I agree.
It's not the same.
You made another good point is that people will do the research and they'll get their numbers, but they don't analyze it.
You can't make it on passion alone.
Exactly.
You cannot make it on passion alone. You have to be passionate about it because economies will go up and down.
True.
And the passion is what carries you through the downtime. Going, this is what I love. I never in my wildest dreams imagined I would be pursuing a graduate education in gemology at this point in my life. But it is an absolute passion and something I love to do, and I'm going to grad school after hours, after working in healthcare in the morning and here in the evening, and then afternoon, and then going to school on top of it.
Yeah. How many hours in your day?
We're not going to talk about that.
Now that we're talking about learning, because this is your first business. What are some of the things you've learned about you?
I'm a terminal optimist. There is always something you can do when things don't seem to be going down the right path.
Okay.
And own your mistakes. You have to have an incredible amount, and I said passion again, and a lot of people use that word, but even when we were shut down with COVID, there was nothing I wanted to do more. Called small business development. We found out about PPP loans. We did a lot of those kinds of things.
So for other business owners that maybe is watching our podcast, are there other characteristics you think that would lend to a successful business owner besides passion?
If you are not a numbers person, you need to learn to be a numbers person and not be afraid of them.
Okay.
And don't wait 6 months to look at them. You have to, whether you feel like they're good or bad, look at them every month. Are we on target, off target, above target? What adjustments do we have to make the next month?
And I agree with that because numbers only make sense when you have something to compare them to.
You have to look at that, go and say, where would I improve performance? Exactly. And then was I able to actually do it?
Do you feel that in the beginning when you started that you were more of an employee of your business than an owner? Or do you feel you started out with the mindset that I don't have to do everything?
I did very much feel like an employee because I was learning. Immediately there were things going, okay, I want to do this with it, I want to do this. And we've morphed today into Royal Hummingbird Studio, which is always a dream to do more custom design, personalized service, have clients, not customers. And today, we changed the name of the store in 2022. We're a fully interactive custom design center.
Awesome.
And we concentrate on the relationship. And that's something you don't get online. You don't get the relationship online.
I agree. So speaking of changes that you made, what changes or what direction do you see your business going in the future?
More technology and more client touch. When you're looking at something like this, you're in a jewelry store, you're buying it's something to celebrate life moments. That's something you want to be able to say, and if I want to have it cleaned, if I want to have it taken care of, if I want to add to it, we learn about our customers' lives. That's why there's chairs here. We sit, we don't stand at a counter to do something. We always say this is a place where art and technology meet. And the result is beautiful.
So what would you say if someone said, hey, you're missing out on the market in what you do? What would be your answer to say, well, why don't you at least do Oklahoma or Colorado or New Mexico because they're close?
Because I love my community. I want to be a Lubbock-based business. This business has been here since 1978. Wow. Royal Hummingbird arrived on the scene in 2015, and last year it earned its name on the building.
Excellent.
A few months ago, we had a client that came to me for a 55th wedding anniversary. Did the process with them together, and he re-proposed to her right over there.
Oh, that is wonderful.
That's what makes coming to work every day. Because it doesn't feel like work. Even when I leave here at night, in the evening, last night I had a late design client, I go home and go, I can't wait to get back there the next day.
What would you say for a person who is retiring? You know, sometimes people feel that if you're going to start a business, you need to be young when you're 20. But statistics show more people over the age of 50 are starting a business. Tell me a little bit about how you feel about that.
I think it's outstanding because we learned in the careers that helped us pay the bills, send our kids to school, develop in a career that we thought we wanted to do with the life experience we had at 18 or 19 or 20. And then, we went to school, we're going to dig in because there's no option not to.
That's right.
And you take all that experience into something you go, and now that the families are raised,
right?
Now that the kids are successful, they're on their own. This is something I've always wanted to do. Why am I not pursuing it?
Now, what would you say to an entrepreneur who wants to start a business but they don't want to get a loan? Because I run into that often where people's like, I don't want to get a loan, or I don't want to put my house up. What kind of advice can you give them since you appear to be comfortable in saying, hey, this is what it's going to take for me to do this and move forward?
Well, it was part of the process. The resources were there. I was not excited about taking on a loan, but the desire to do it was greater than the fear of it,
Yeah.
and we knew we'd put in the financial metrics to make sure we stayed on target.
Mhm.
I might need to reach out for help. I use the
Mhm.
Small Business Development Center a lot.
Mhm.
I would have to network with colleagues. I'd have to join a
Mhm.
Facebook group of people in an
Mhm.
industry like mine
Mhm.
that I could talk with.
And you make a very good point. As a business owner, you can't know everything.
You can't.
There's too many facets of running a business for you to know everything. And so a successful entrepreneur would be one that is open and willing to receive help.
And you have to be willing to learn.
Yes, I think it's so important for entrepreneurs to know is that when you start a business or buy a business, it doesn't have to be in the education you had.
Mm-mm.
So, as Susan is saying, it was
You
her
identify
passion.
what you need.
Exactly.
You identify what you need as you're
Mhm.
going along, going, I want to know more. I want to be more of a resource. I've identified an area where there's not enough expertise
Mhm.
in our community, and my focus is to be a local business.
Mm.
And there is no reason to go to Dallas, Houston, Austin to get this type of knowledge. It exists in our own community. And when you walk in the door, we're going to look you in the eye every time. It's not an online experience. We might start our relationship through answering questions, texts, emails, to get a feel for what we do and how we do it.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, we want you to walk in the door and look us in the eye.
Awesome.
We want that.
One I heard you say when we were talking about growth was listen to your customers. And so when customers were walking in inquiring about something that you didn't offer, you're like, why don't I offer
Why don't I
that?
offer that? If you have the ability to go back and get the education, even if you're a way late student, do it. If it's what you love, be the best you can. And if there's education you need to go and get it, to do it, go do it.
I love what you've done, Susan. I'm so happy you took the time out to meet with us. I
It's
think
my pleasure.
you have dropped little gems along
no pun
the
intended.
way. No
That
pun
was good,
intended.
yeah.
To help other people that are considering business. As the executive director and having the program of Small Business Development Center, whenever I tell people what I do, they always say, I want to start a business. Don't keep throwing good money after bad.
Yep.
And if your business fails, it's okay. A lot of successful companies failed 2 or 3 times before they got into the right business that was for them. Because as Susan has mentioned, you might be passionate about something, but the market may be saturated. There may not be a need for that product or that service. So take that passion and find something else or tweak it or do it differently.
And it wasn't a failure on your part to have
True.
tried something that didn't work.
Oh, I
That
agree.
was not a failure on your point. There
I
are
agree.
no failures.
I
Those
agree.
are all learning experiences, and I mean that 100%.
I agree.
It's all on how you look at it.
It is. It is. So, and then you have resources like the Small Business Development Center that offers no cost confidential consulting that when you have that idea or if you're in business or you need help.
Or you're already working and have a dream.
Exactly. My final question as we kind of wrap things up is what advice would you give to a person who's considering starting a business? And then what advice would you give to an individual that's in business and want to grow?
Okay. Getting in, you're going to work hard.
Okay.
You're always going to be thinking about it. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night and think about things. You're going to have ideas. Get up in the middle of the night, write them down, go back to sleep. That's important. Don't let the fear stop you, especially if there's something in your gut that's going, I don't know how, but I know this is right. To me, about growing, you've never made it. There is no top of the mountain. And by top of the mountain, I don't mean financial mountain.
No.
I'm talking about satisfaction, growth in your product, always looking for ways to make the experience better. Always reinvent yourself. And when you find something you love, jump all the way in. And be patient. This is 16 years this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I can't even believe where the time went. But I'm not focused on where it went. I'm focused on where it's going.
Exactly. Susan, this has been an awesome exchange.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed it myself. Any chance to talk about small business? I believe in small business. I think communities will thrive based on small business. And it needs to come back.
Because one of the challenges that a lot of communities have is retaining their college graduates.
Yes.
And so the small business owner, as you mentioned, start with the internship. And when the college student see the advantages and the value in the community, they sometimes, not all the time, will say, hey, I want to stay and work here.
Something about this area of the world here in Lubbock is, and I don't think a lot of people think about it, every year we have Texas Tech University, Lubbock Christian University, South Plains College, Wayland Baptist. You have a constant flow of new people into our community that we have a 4-year opportunity to help them fall in love.
Exactly.
With Lubbock, Texas.
Well, we're going to conclude at this time. I love to give people books and resources. Michael Gerber's E-Myth is an excellent book if you're thinking about starting a business that helps you understand the difference between being a baker and owning a bakery. Two different things, and he does a very good job of helping people understand about creating a franchise mindset. But thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Susan.
You're
Before
welcome.
we end, tell us the name of your business and address again.
Royal Hummingbird Studio in Lubbock, Texas. Fine jewelry and custom design, diamond and gemstone concierge. It is 82nd and Quaker in the Village Shopping Center.
I appreciate your time, and I am Carla Holland, the Executive Director of Texas Tech Institute for Small Business. Thank you for watching.
Funded in part through a cooperative agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administration. All opinions, conclusions, and/or recommendations expressed herein are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the views of the SBA.